Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am super excited to be recording here with these beautiful ladies our first collective podcast. So, the goal for our first collective podcast is just for us to be ourselves, to tell you guys who we are, what we do, and start connecting with each one of you guys that are out there watching us. So, once again, welcome to the collective. Welcome to our first episode. And I am so excited. And honestly, such a pleasure to have Fancy Nancy and Nicole here in this podcast, us together. Finally, our thoughts, our ideas, our dreams, our goals coming together. I honestly don't have words to express how honored and such a pleasure. And just like that song, I don't know if you ever realized that whenever I put stories about us, I always put that Pitbull song with Christina Aguilera. This is just leave the moment. I just want to feel this time. It has a meaning, a very strong meaning behind it. So just the fact to be here together with you two guys, it's just like that song. Just want to leave this moment. So I'm so excited and happy.
Well, we're honored to be here.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. It is part of like I said, coming all these ideas and dreams together, and it's introducing ourselves. I'm pretty sure some of you guys know who we are, what we do, but our goal is just to also get to know you guys, but also many more people, right? Get to the right people and get to the right audience. So I'm going to start with Nancy. Nancy, I honestly, like I was telling you the other day, when I would never really, thought that I was going to be doing a podcast with you.
Really?
Yes.
Well, here we are, doll. Here we are.
Yes, because you're such a person that it's been in this, business for how many years?
23 years, 24. Yeah,
years.
long time.
She started when she was 2.
Yeah.
When she was 2. So you're like 25.
Yeah. Well, most people think that. They think I'm like 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started in 2003.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I next to you, I'm a baby in business.
Yeah.
I mean, I started, I'm the pre-COVID. You know how many agencies, and they just like, all these COVID agents. Well, I was that wave of agents that I was about to go to law school, and I was like, real estate or law school? And I said, let's go real estate.
There you
During
go.
that time of COVID. So next year, I only been in business 5 years.
And look how much you've accomplished in the 5 years.
And look at what you're still doing now, post-COVID, with the market not the COVID market, and you're still thriving.
I think I've never had a normal time as a realtor. Like,
But that's real estate. Real estate is not normal. It's a roller coaster ride, and you got to ride the waves, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started with COVID, and then all these, dramas we're having until this point. So I guess one day I'll say, if I overcame all this, we made it, right? In real
Right.
estate.
For
But
sure.
let's continue talking about you. Tell us, and I know a lot of people knows you because people, when I invited you to my first event, people were like, I'm just going. I'm not a realtor, but I'm going because Nancy Fancy is going to be there. And I
Well,
was like,
that's such an honor.
for real. And I was like, oh, Fancy Nancy. And honestly, I told you the other day, I was not, when I invited you to one of the events or the panels, I didn't think you were going to say yes. But Vivian was like, do it. So tell us a little bit about you, about your experience, how long you've been in the...
So I've been in real estate for almost 25 years. I've been through tough markets, the down markets, the up markets, the multiple offer markets, all the markets. And I have also been in real estate through different avenues. I started out working for a builder, so I've done the whole builder world, which is totally different than the realtor world. I've done the realtor world. I've done the investor. I've done the flipper. I've done the designer. I've done the stager. I've kind of done all the different hats in real estate, a little bit of wholesaling. But I just really love houses. I love helping people. I love that you're never doing the same thing twice. So I think that that's really a fun thing because I can get bored easily. So it's like instant gratification to take things from one step and you can actually see the process and how much you've accomplished. And then I really just love enjoying helping people. But aside from work, I'm a mom of 2. I have a 19-month-old daughter. Her name is Soraya, and I have a 6-year-old son, Cairo. And then I'm married to my husband, Ernest. We live in Carrollton, and I love to travel. I love all things fancy. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I think this is a question that needs to be asked, since it's our first podcast. Why real estate? What made you decide I mean, you could have been a lawyer, you couldn't be a very good attorney.
Yeah, or a PI. That's like my next job, PI.
Yeah, so why real estate back then? Like, what was the motive?
I just really loved houses and everything about houses, designing, all the different things. And I actually started working for a builder and started doing like some of the designs on the builder homes and different things. And I just found like a niche in it where I really connected with the people. And for me, it was like helping people achieve something that they didn't think that they could was ultra gratifying. It was fulfilling to me. So I didn't necessarily, at that point when you're getting in the business so young, it was never like, oh, the money, because I'm working as an assistant, right? So I'm helping close all these deals, but I'm only making assistant pay. I'm not making, the money that we're making now. But so it was more so just to help people. And I just kind of became addicted to changing people's lives. And
and money.
Not so money.
Yeah, money.
Not so money, because I'll tell you this. The thing
I'm telling you.
the thing with money is that, in this business, obviously, the more you sell, the more money you make. But with that, everything comes at a cost.
Yes.
And so it's a hard balance, because I've sold 25 million and, 60 plus deals in a year and all that.
What has been your biggest year in transactions? Because this is the thing, people. There's this type of realtors that like to brag about everything they do or like how many transactions. And that's one of the things why I really like you, because you don't.
Well, here's the thing. She doesn't even know how much she does.
That's the thing. She doesn't even know how much. That's how much.
Doesn't even track
She sells so much. She doesn't know how many. But sometimes, like, you have these realtors. Oh, I have so many volumes and so much, and then you fact check. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you really don't have that
Well,
much.
and Nancy's super humble. I think she's, but she also doesn't know quite how she measures up comparatively speaking to the other agents that are out there. So, because she's just in her lane focused.
But I think that's when people talk, because you really don't look around to see what
I think
others
that
do.
those things that Nicole say are very true. I just focus on myself. I don't really compare myself to anyone else. And as far as numbers, I'm terrible at numbers. I know that's horrible to say, you're in real estate, but I don't know my numbers. Like, I'll be meeting with agents, or Nicole will put me in contact with different people that are asking for different things, and they could spit out their numbers like this, and they know exactly how many sales they've had and this. And I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. And then I'm like, Nicole, what are my numbers? Nicole could tell you probably better than I can, because I'm in her downline. But I just am not really number oriented like that. Like, I could probably tell you how many families, and I can tell you the stories of the families.
How many families have you helped? What is the largest number of families you help in 1 year?
In 1 year, I have helped 72 families.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It was like almost 27 million. I don't know the exact number, 26 and some change in 1 year.
And like with no leverage, really. Like, it's not like you have like a assistant or anything like that, or a buyer
I didn't
agent.
have an assistant or anything. I do now, thanks to Nicole, and putting systems in place, and other people like, how are you doing all of this? And I'm just a control freak, and I like to be in control of things. And so I felt like if I let go of control, it wouldn't get done correctly, because I'm also someone who kind of tends to be a little bit of on the perfectionist side, and I want all of my things to look a certain way. And so I had to learn to let go of control. Like I said, it was the biggest year for me, but if you were to ask me if I would want to do that again, I would probably say no.
Why?
Well, it cost me a lot. My son was young, and I worked all the time. And when I would come home, my son wouldn't really want to have anything to do with me, because I was gone all day. So like, I would try to like give him a bath or feed him dinner or any of those things. And he obviously preferred my husband. Yeah. And sorry, I get teary-eyed about it. He obviously preferred my husband, which thank God I have a good support system and a great husband who could handle it, But, you start to feel rejected. And with that rejection, you pour yourself into something that you're doing and excelling well, which was work. So then with that rejection that I was getting, I would pour myself more into my work, and I would work more and more and more and more. But that year, I never took a single vacation. I never did anything really fun. I was working crazy hours. And clearly my child didn't want to have anything to do with me, which then made me just feel more rejected and work more. And also I probably paid over 200 grand out to the IRS. I mean, like it's not, I wouldn't want that again. You know what I mean? Like the money doesn't buy you happiness.
No, and I think that's one of the great things, and that's why, you know, we're opening this platform for females, for people in business, for I mean, of course, our podcast is open for everybody, but you know, we as women, we can speak from our heart to people, right? And I think that's one of the things in real estate, like. Of course, we want to sell and we want to be successful and we want to be that top producer and you want to just kill it and selling and transactions. And sometimes, you know, as I'm 40 and we're in the 40 bracket, you come to a realization that life is more than just numbers.
Yeah.
And it's about balance, right?
Yes.
How I want to be I want to be a
Trying
complete,
to balance anyway.
Yes, you want to be whole. You want to be a successful, you know, doing transactions, but not just doing transactions, also helping and building and making others be successful as well. That's one part. Then you as a woman, your relationships, your children, your home. So it's not just about, oh, I just want to be this top producer. Look at me, how cute, how beautiful, how amazing. Look at me. Everybody wants to be me. It's about being yourself, and finding that balance.
Right.
That I think it's wonderful. And that's the purpose of one of the many purposes of this podcast is just to open that maybe some realtors don't really like to say, because I think
I mean, it's not kosher, right? It's not the pretty thing like,
No.
oh, you know, I've been doing this for 2 decades and I sell this many houses in a year and this. Like, no one really cares. At the end of the day, you know, like everybody sells, like I'm not only as good as my last number. There's more to me than selling houses.
Exactly.
And there's more to me that holds more weight, like my family and my family's lives. And yes, does real estate provide an opportunity to have some sort of financial freedom in what I'm doing? Absolutely. And so I'm grateful for that. But do I want to be like sitting here like, oh, I sold 70 houses, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that year was the most stressful year of my life. And again, I had zero work-life balance. I was never home. My child didn't want to have anything to do with me, probably my husband too. And it was really stressful. And I got a ton of accolades, tons of awards on my walls, tons of, you know, all the things, but that's really all.
And we're not saying that that's wrong with reaching to those goals. There's nothing wrong with being that successful, strong woman and have a structure and want to be a producing agent, high producing agent. We're talking about balancing, right?
Yeah, and I think for everyone it's different, right?
Yes.
For me,
Yes.
that's not necessarily my driver.
Exactly.
For someone else, that might be it. And, you know, they might have grown kids or, you know, like everyone's situation
Yes.
is different. But specifically for me,
Yes.
I would not choose that. And I'm very mindful of it now that I have a 19-month-old, my daughter, and these are days in her lives that I'm never going to get back, right? Real estate will always be there. So it's okay if I refer something out and don't drive all the way to Fort Worth and just give it to someone that is over in that area. Totally okay. Where before I'm like, oh no, I have to help this family. They referred to me, you know, they're counting on me. Well, what about my own family?
Exactly.
So I had to have a better balance.
And it's beautiful how success have different faces, right? And everybody has a different view of what success is. And it's not always selling 150 homes a year. There's more than that.
Well, and that's part of the reason why I joined with Nicole, because the goal here is to have financial freedom and to have income, you know, residual. And, you know, Nicole's built a huge organization on that.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to learn from her. And
We are.
you know, that kind of thing where I don't have to work as hard, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
so that's the goal.
That is our ultimate goal. Freedom.
So that's the thing when you say that, you know, it's not all about the money, but it is about getting yourself to a point where you're more free. Because a lot of times people get into real estate because they have this dream of like being their own boss and getting financially free and not being chained to a desk. And only to find out in most cases in real estate, you're not making money if you're not working. So you are a slave to what the client's needs are. You're a slave to your next deal. You're a slave to the fact that if your pipeline's not full, you better get going on building the front end of that pipeline again. And that's like the opposite of why people get into the business, right? So while money's not everything, the freedom that you get from having income coming in is everything.
You know, since I was in college, well, actually, since I was younger, my mindset has always been, let's work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And some people can judge me for that. And it's not that I'm cutting, you know, how you say, how's that phrase when you cut?
Corners.
You're not cutting corners, right? It's about like working smarter and
absolutely.
making the best out of time and everything. So, Nicole, tell us a little bit about you, because you, to me, you are phenomenal, wonderful, strong, independent, rich. Sorry, maybe that can be cut out.
I'm on my way there. We're getting there. We're trying.
So, tell us about you, like we're, you know, going back to the subject of financial freedom and how we can proudly say, you know, I think it's about being honest. When you have reached certain levels, it's okay to say it, you know, in a humble way, but to inspire and help others. So let us know how. Tell me a little.
First of all, nobody succeeds alone. So that's part of the reason why we're all here together. And luckily, we found a model that supports a way to kind of get financially free and not have to sling homes for the rest of your life, while production ultimately needs to happen anyway. So there's kind of the balance there. When you talk about, you know, when we will, I'm sure, EXP's model versus just selling homes for the rest of your life. But a little bit about me kind of backing up. It's kind of weird and nostalgic because growing up, I grew up in a real estate family. Like, it was just the language that was talked at the dining room table and the calls that I heard when I was sitting in the back seat of my mom's car. And actually, this office that we're in right now, when I was like 18 years old, I worked the counter answering phones, and then I put, you know, mail in the mailboxes. So this is kind of full circle, even just being back here. But my parents, they were the first two team leaders at this office that we're here. And so I just grew up. But, you know, back when you're growing up with parents that are, back in the day, they were kind of I mean, I remember they were pinching pennies. It was like, you want to go to McDonald's, family? Well, we better count out the money, because we had 5 kids. I mean, we lived here in Plano, but we lived very humbly. I shared a bedroom with 2 sisters. We all 5 kids shared a bathroom. And I watched them hustle, but I also said, that's not going to be me. I'm not getting into real estate. So I resisted, went to college in Austin, ended up actually running tanning salons and had that job for 10, 12 years, probably a little bit more. And my stepdad, his name is Gene Frederick. I'll go ahead and name drop my dad. He just said to me one day, like, if you work half as hard in real estate as you do with your salons, because I was a regional manager there, then the sky's the limit. Right now, you're capped on the money that you make. So you're making a mistake. And finally, it clicked to me that I better get licensed. So that was back in 07, 08. I got licensed. But I could never, in production, because I was doing that, it was a side hustle. And for anybody that does dual career in real estate, you know that's something that you can find yourself being in the middle of forever, because there's never a great time to say, okay, I'm ready to give up the salary. And that's how I felt. I was never ready to give up the salary. And all the while, they were doing really well with the KW model. They were making profit share, which was in one sense a good show of financial freedom. But I started selling homes on my mom's team at Keller Williams in Austin. At the time, that's where we all lived. And then kind of fast forward, I could never make that break until 2015 rolled around, and Gene sits us down at the dining room table, and he's like, I know of this brand new opportunity, guys, and I think it's going to change the way agents do business. I think it's the opportunity of a lifetime. At the time, EXP Realty, nobody knew anything about them. They had like maybe 300, 400 agents nationwide. And I remember that day I said, okay, no more dual, no more putting my foot halfway in, halfway out. And I also wanted to find an opportunity where I could do somewhat the things that like a team leader does. Like I saw, because I was leading people in my other career, I never thought I wanted to get into real estate to sell a bunch of houses. I knew that if I could leverage and get to the point where, whether I was owning an office, whether I was a broker owner, whether I was a whatever, I was leveraging through others, because that's kind of what I'd been shown through my parents, but also that's what I was doing with my tanning career. Like I was kind of the at the top there. And so I said, okay, I quit. I quit my job after 15 years or however long I was doing it. And I just followed in my dad's footsteps, and he showed me how to do it. And looking back, it's kind of an incredible story, but obviously EXP is what it is today. There's like 90,000 agents, and it just affords us all a really good opportunity to help each other succeed. And yes, it definitely has given me like the freedom to take like almost the entire month of June off. Like I didn't do anything.
And this can be cut off, but I'm gonna ask you, how many agents do you have? No, well, let me rephrase this. How many partners have you worked with? Do you have in EXP right now?
Oh, a lot, like 1,000. But it's over the past couple years, it's kind of the attrition, like it's oscillated a little bit. Like it's gone up, it's gone down. Last month, 40 agents joined. And so it hovers there around 1,000 right now. But that's 1,000 people. Like, I think there's a famous quote that says, would you rather like have 100% of the efforts that you put in every day, or would you rather have 1% of 100 other people's efforts? And when you think about it like that, well, which one would you rather have? Like where I can actually, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing super passive about it. You're still doing stuff. Like I am still doing things and hoping that I'm a good partner for the people that join me. You know, that's a significant responsibility, but it does provide leverage, and the freedom that goes along with that is just, you know, it's changed my life.
And I think one of the things that I really love, you know, speaking with you and your dad, you know, remember he's saying it's about changing lives. Mm-hmm. Of course it is our business, and of course it's this financial freedom, but it's not just the financial freedom. It's not just about the money. It's about really inspiring and helping and others like catch the vision and also change their lives.
Oh yeah. Like sometimes, like I know how hard Nancy works, and she deserves all the accolades. She deserves everything that comes to her financial success and otherwise. But that's a lot of hats. She's doing so much. And sometimes I just, like, my heart almost aches a little bit because I'm like, I cannot believe how much she juggles. I cannot believe how much she juggles.
I really can't
as
either.
A mom,
how much you
like
can.
As an agent, like everything. I'm like, I don't know how she does it. And so with the goal and what we're starting here is to not, she doesn't feel like she has to, or she has a much easier time saying, guess what, person on my team, here's the deal. Like I'm going to refer my business out here and free up some of my time so I can do things that also make my life successful in other areas, be a mom, you know, or whatever it is that she wants to do. So.
And I think this, you know, it adds up to, you know, as our first episode talking about the collective, and what we come together as a team is to help others, you know, or really, like, you know, when you start thinking sometimes, you know, Posh gets on these thoughts, philosophical thoughts about what's really life, what's really the purpose of life. And sometimes we can we want to find these philosophical, great answers when it comes down to just be yourself, live the moment, build others, help others. You know, I think that's what gives to me that purpose and that drive of not just saying, oh, I'm just want to be a high producing agent and I just want to have this much money and I just want to, it's about, okay, what's behind that? Like, what's going to give me that motive every day to really wake up and say, do I just have to go show homes or do I just have to do that? No, there's the behind, helping families, helping other agents.
That's a huge thing.
Like helping other people.
Over 80% of the agents who get in this business get out within 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? Agents need other mentors. They need people helping them along the way. They need people there to answer questions when they have them, right? And that's what the financial alignment does.
Of course. I mean, it's, you know, it's not like we're just like, you know, love and peace. I mean, it is business, right?
Real life.
But it's a real life. But the beauty of real life is to do something that you love, that you enjoy, and at the same time you build others. So I
Right.
think we got it. Like
got
that's to me, like I think after 40 years of life and so much, a path that I walk in life, I think I can finally say at 41
You figure out the meaning of
figure
life?
out the meaning of life, or not. I don't think the meaning, because I think I still have a lot to learn, to be honest with you, but it's more like I think I finally feel that I'm in alignment with just an alignment with everything, like with myself or so, because everything starts within ourselves. So I think in order for me to get to you both, I had to walk a path of lessons and situations and learning in order to be ready, I think, to come in alignment and actually function and be cohesive and work. I think if I would have come with you 5 years ago, this would have probably not work, right? It's like sometimes you have to walk a path in order to work there, and sometimes you're like, why it takes so long? Well, I think you have to
There
be
were
ready.
lessons to be learned. There's timing involved. Yeah.
A lot of things in order to involve in order for you to say, okay, I think I'm ready. I think this can work. So yeah, that's I love it.
That's my story. Oh, other than that, like I'm like a I don't I'm trying to figure out a word on what to call it, but I'm like a transcendent mom. Like I started having kids when I was 25 and I just had my last one at 41. Like what am I doing? So I've had a kid every decade of my procreating years. Well, not as a teenager, but early 20s, 30s, 40s. So I have a 17-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old son, and like a 19, 20-month-old baby. So
Goodness
that's
gracious. And that's what I love about us, because like in your case, you have young children and mom working mom. You're a mom as well, but kids with different ages.
Yeah.
And here's Posh, single, ready to mingle. I'm just kidding.
Single, ready to mingle. See,
Single, ready to mingle.
You're vibing life, girl. Speaking on the rest of us.
And that's are some of the topics that I want us to talk as we move in more episodes, guys, about how balancing mom life, how as a businesswoman, balancing life between husband, wife, as a single woman, how you also work through that, relationships, dating. I mean, the whole package, that makes a woman.
Yeah, I think like while we can relate to men, there's something about being a woman, especially in today's world, where there's so much like pressure to kind of do it all, have it all. Like, what are you doing if you're producing for your family and bringing home money? But also there's the pressure of, like Nancy was talking about, are you around your kids enough? And then with that pressure comes guilt. And how do we all deal with that guilt? And when you can relate to other people who are dealing with like the exact same thing, that's kind of, I think that's one of the purposes of this too, is just to talk through these challenges that we all face. And when we're able to do that, we can give each other grace, and then also ourselves, because we can see it in each other,
As you're saying that, like there's this word relatable, right? I think I want to make it as relatable as possible, real as possible, where, again, I think as realtors, we all have the tendency to create these facades or these personas or like this kind of people. And I just want us to be just so ourselves. Where people can see, oh, they go through that too. Oh, they feel that too. Oh, I'm not the only one feeling this way. No, girl, you're not the only one.
Well, like you said, like post-COVID, like all these people got into real estate. They think real estate is such an easy job, right? You're a glorified locksmith. You unlock doors, write a contract, make all this money. Like that's what we do, yay, us, blah, blah, which is furthest from the truth of what it is that we actually do. People don't see all the things that you do behind the scenes. People don't see all the hardships you go through. And if you talk about it, then you're kind of drummed as negative Nancy. And I hate that word is tied to my name, I might add. But that's what it's kind of featured, right? You're showing houses, your client's supposed to be there at 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. They text you at 5:05. Oh, I'm late. I'm 30 minutes. Okay, well, I've been sitting outside this house already for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because I'm on time. Now that's 30 minutes, like that just pushes back everything. Like it's all sorts of stuff, right? That they don't see that you're doing, the pressures, yeah, like in this market, we have all these listings right now and listings are sitting, and it's one thing to have all these listings and it's another thing to sell them, right? And
Yeah.
them to move and managing the expectations and explaining the market and all the different pressures that you have alongside life.
Yeah. I know. So we're excited. We're happy. I can't wait for people to get to know more of us.
What about you, though? We kind of gave our stories.
Oh, what about me?
Yeah, tell us about you, Posh.
What can I tell you about me? Okay, so let's start with Posh.
Yeah,
right?
let's start with Posh,
Because many people is like, what does Posh means, right? Well, P stands for, well, it can stand for many things, but in my case, stands for powerful, original, strong, and healthy. Okay, so before my Realtor era, right, I was a high school teacher. Not that, again, I love teachers. I love you. I respect you.
A lot of teachers make the best real estate agents.
They do. That's what people, every time I say, hey, I was a high school teacher, they're like, oh, you're going to be a great, or you're a real realtor. It's like, yeah, well, there's a lot. Like I said, I really love and respect teachers, but it was not my calling for life. I think I've been called to be a teacher, not just in the education system. So
Yeah, there you go.
So I was there for a while, and I think, again, we go through seasons in life for a reason. I don't think anything happens just because. So it was a great season for me, of a lot of learning. But then during that time, I also, I've always struggled with overweight and always trying to lose, and I've lost and I gained, da 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 da. And I've always been very open about my journeys and life and just talk. And I decided that I was going to blog about it. So I would, like, it was back then when actual blogging was taking place and Instagram was barely taking place. And I said, I don't want to just be Edna. I want to be something like different. So, my friend said, we're going to call you Posh. I was like, Posh? I said, I don't want to be so professional. He goes, no. Look, it's going to, let's give him a meaning, right? And I was like, I like that. So that's how Posh was born, from Edna trying to just have a voice and express myself. And
Is Posh an alter ego, do you think, or is it you?
I think, actually, I don't think necessarily is an alter ego. I think it's Edna, Edna Magali. I think Edna found herself with Posh.
I don't even call her Edna ever.
No,
I address her as Posh.
And you
I don't even
look
have her
like
in
a
my
Posh.
phone as Edna. She's Posh.
She's
Posh is
Posh.
Posh. That's
I know,
it.
when I say I'm Edna, people's like, that's like Posh.
Yeah, I'm like, don't even say that. Just say Posh.
Yeah, it fits you perfectly, I think.
The Posh,
Yeah,
the Posh. And I was thinking about changing the Barbie, because I was like, come on, Posh. Not necessarily. I was like, screw it. It's already there.
Oh, your Instagram handle, you mean?
Yeah. But we'll
It's like-
think about it. But for right now, Posh will never go away.
I love it.
But that's how Posh started, from the need of just always speak, have a voice, and talk to people. Back then, I always had real estate in the back of my mind, but it wasn't necessarily like I knew I was going to be a realtor. I was, again, teaching was for me a seasonal thing. It lasted more than what I expected. My goal was just to do it for like 2 years, and it ended up being a 10-year, 12-year journey. But longer. So I was at the point, I was like, okay, I know I was not called to be a teacher in the education system. What's next? The goal was always to be an attorney. So I was like, you know what? I'm old, but screw it. Let's go ahead and get ready for the LSATs. I was like, I don't know if I'd like to study about the LSATs. And I don't know if I want to get in debt with more money for law school. And I said, you know what? If I want to do law school, I want to do either real estate law or corporational law. Or I said, again, let's work smarter, not harder. I said, what if I do real estate? The investment of time and money is very small compared to law school, and I can make even more money than lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my little brother was like, you know what? Let's try. And I said to myself, I was being a teacher as I was doing real estate. No, I was being a teacher as I started being realtor and studying for it during COVID time. And I said to myself, Isa, if I don't sell anything the first year, right, I'll just, stopping. I leave the real estate thing to the side, and I'll get ready for the LSATs and be an attorney. But no,
There you go.
I sold.
You It worked.
It worked. The first year I sold, my first home was $500,000, which again, I was again, our mindset. I was like, you know what, I start small and maybe I'll sell a $250, $100 home and I start my way. No, the first transactions were $500,000 back to back.
There you go.
And I
You
was
have
like,
this energy about you that people just like feel, and it's very warming. It's very high energy. It's very inspiring. And
very happy.
So it's very happy.
bright.
Like you're just always so happy to be around. Like even if I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to see Posh, better fix my face because she's going to be like, hi, Fancy. And you're always like on, right? So you definitely have an aura that you elude about you.
Thank you.
It's a very poshy aura.
A very posh. Oh, I like that. A poshy aura.
Yes.
So yeah, I sold and I said, you know what? And I thought about, let's change my name, right? Because I was like, you know what, Posh Realtor, like, you want to be as professional as possible. And my friend said, no, we're going to stay with Posh.
It's different.
And I said, okay, let's go for it. And it worked.
Works.
Like I said, everything sometimes we
never know what's going to stick. You throw it out there and it sticks.
And sometimes we go through experiences of life that you might be saying, why is this happening? Or where is this going to take me? Until years later, you're like, oh, all this was brewing for a while in order to get here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how Posh started. I knew teaching was not my job. I was not made to be a 9 to 5. Now, those who do 9 to 5, more power to you. Personally, was not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't. Like, there was no way for me to do that. So I was like, yeah, if I cannot be in a 9 to 5, how am I going to be an attorney? So I said, you know what? I said, let's do real estate. And that's why we're here. So I, of course, as a grown person, I couldn't just leave education. So I was doing both. I was doing for the last 2 years of my teaching job. I was doing both until I said, you know what? I can't do both no more. And then I feel stuck also as a realtor. Like there's so much you can do having 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Because I never considered myself a part-time realtor. I was doing both full-time. So I was like, you know what? I'm not being the greatest teacher and I'm not being the greatest realtor. So it's time for me to make decisions. And I make the decision and I quit teaching. And from there, it took off a whole different level because it was not just transaction, the vision of building teams and building others and helping others just fell on my lap. Well, I think we all have a purpose. I think it meant to happen. And if I would have been teaching and doing both, I don't think that would have, happened. Sometimes you have to let go in order for make space for other things.
Sometimes you got to burn the boats.
Yes. And it was hard. It was not easy to leave, your salary and just go and see with this market if I sell homes or not. But I don't regret it. I think it was one of the best decisions that I made to, one, decide to be a realtor, then quit teaching and just be a full-time 100% realtor. And now we're here at the collective.
There you go. Yes.
Now we're here at the collective ready to
Take over the world?
Take over the world.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm happy. I can wait. What is the part that you think is misunderstood about you, Nicole? Because you're like this. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
The first time I saw you, I was like, I was a little bit, I was very intimidated by you too. Let me just say.
That is what I was going to tell you.
And it's okay to say when people intimidate you.
Yeah.
And I feel intimidated by you.
I know, and I think that is the most misunderstood thing about it.
Totally.
And by intimidated, I feel like, I was like, oh, like there's these, like I was this baby realtor, right? Like barely starting, and you have these 20-plus-year-old realtor, and you have this wonderful, successful woman, and it's like, and I was like, oh, like, I always wanna circle around strong women, right? But then to approach them is like, should I not?
But you always did. I always remember that about you. Anytime I saw you, you were like,
I was like, can I take a picture with you, Nicole?
Picture? Yeah.
Hi, Nicole, I'm Posh. That's something. If you don't have, like, if you want to approach someone, just approach them.
Good lesson. That is a good lesson.
Yes.
But I think that's it. Like, I remember even in high school, people would be like, until I got to know you, I thought you were a bitch. Like, I just thought you were a bitch. I don't know if I have RBF or whatever.
I for sure have it, but I get that all the time too.
All the time. And then I got to know you, and I just didn't think. Or now, I guess whatever they think about me, successful, the family, everything, they think that maybe I'm intimidating because of a certain successes that have come my way or whatever, or they think that maybe I'm not as normal or down to earth as I am or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's happened throughout my whole life. People are like, I totally didn't think you were like that.
And to
like
my
this.
surprise, I was very surprised when I actually got to meet you. And really, because I would see you at big events, right? You know, Nicole organizes huge events, guys. So I would see you up there, and I was like, like, I never thought that you were so nice and so cool and so down to earth. Honestly,
I laugh at because it's the same thing. People
like
say the same thing.
honestly, like I was like, oh, Nicole's actually. Am I talking to Nicole? Yes.
Well, then you get to know that, like, no matter what you initially think about anybody, like, we all go through the same crap. Like, no matter what, I have huge struggles in my life that, like, anybody could relate to. I mean, those are the things that I'm sure we'll get to them on some of these shows. Those are the things I think that people ultimately relate to. It's hard to relate to somebody selling 70 families a year. It's kind of hard. You're like, I don't know if I'll ever do that. But I can relate to somebody struggling to get pregnant like we both did, and that's a struggle that we both kind of went through together. And those connection points, I think, make relationship worthwhile and kind of help each other along like that. So, like, the facade that you see of anybody, whether it's either one of us or people probably think the same thing about you, underneath, everybody's human with real human things that we're all struggling through, right?
Yeah. What about you? Because I feel the same thing with you. Like, I remember I was looking for a panelist for one of the events that I, did a while ago. And I remember I was like, I want someone very strong, like a strong person. And then Vivian said, invite Nancy fans. I was like, I don't think she'll say yes. And I remember Vivian saying, she's nice. Ask her. And I was like, and I said, hi. I remember I texted you. I was like, and you said yes. And I was like, I feel so important.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest perception. I think people think, like, I'm so bougie, or I give off this, like, I'm snobby. I don't know, or I'm too fancy. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest. But definitely. And then when people meet me, they're like, oh, I thought you were kind of a bitch, like, at first. But then I got to know you, and you're so nice, and you help everyone, and you don't expect anything back. And, like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can't be blessed if you don't bless others. Like, I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm in competition with myself. I'm not here to be better than anyone. Like, I genuinely want to see you do well. So, but I think that is probably the biggest misperception about me, is people think I'm, like, bougie and, I'm fancy Nancy. I'm like, my husband is more bougie than I am, believe it or not.
Nancy finds the fanciest things at, like, Ross.
Yes. Like I shop at, like, Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls and, like, off stores. Like, I'm not let me go to Neiman's. And I mean, of course, I like nice things too. I'm not knocking those things, but I'm also really frugal. And just because I can doesn't mean you should. And I am, I have a few designer things that I've purchased. I buy them all on consignment. Like, I'm very, like, down to earth. Like, I grew up with a single mom who raised me, like, we didn't have designer things, like, it was, my brother and I are 14 months apart. It was, we got one scooter, one bike, figure it out. We got one Nintendo, one game. Like, one person got one person got the other. Like, figure it out. Like, it wasn't like, I didn't grow up, like, with all these, like, rich things. And so, yeah, I think it's important to stay grounded in that. But I would say that that's probably a huge misconception about me. They all expect me to be super bougie with designer things and not, like, real. And I think I'm very real.
I think you are. You are. And I was very surprised when I met you that you guys were so down to earth and so chill and so nice. I was like, oh, these bitches are actually nice.
Yeah.
Misconception about Posh. What would be a misconception? I think, and please correct me,
Okay.
because maybe mine is a little bit different than yours. I think mine, people think that I'm very soft-spoken.
I think, yeah, before getting to know you, I was like, she is always smiling. She has the warm
Yes.
energy. Like, but you don't, maybe you wouldn't expect how much of a boss you are. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, but I wouldn't use the word soft spoken
Well,
because
No.
you have this presence about you, and I think soft spoken people kind of fall under. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but they're not like. They don't have like a presence. Like when they walk in the room, it's like, oh, that's Posh, right? And
Yes.
you have that presence. So like, I don't feel like you kind of fall under the rug. Like, so I don't know if I'd say soft spoken. Maybe I'd say maybe like more timid, like
yes.
shy.
Yes, like people think that I was like maybe like, oh, like people say, oh, she's so sweet, which I am sweet.
Yeah.
But I
But don't
don't
get on your wrong side.
Yes. I don't think people understand that there's other side of Posh that can be very bossy.
Yeah. Really like that.
And I can be a little bit, I don't want to say bitchy to myself, but when you really get to know me, you're like, oh,
Dang. Did
dang,
she just say that?
like, did she?
Like, I remember when we went to Cabo, the first time you were like, what'd you say? Like, fuck those, whatever. I forget what you said, but it was like, I was like, Posh. Like,
Yes, like
okay.
like you will see me and then you see me like those motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
That's
people
what the
say-
word. That was the key word of
Like
the trip.
I don't think people think that I'm just like sweet and nice and that's just unicorns and rainbows. But when you get to know me, people be like, no, she is so sassy and crazy and a little bit of a bossy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that that's the good thing about a group, right? You have all
Yes.
different personalities. Everyone's different. Everyone brings something different, and that's the point of this group is to find people who are not. It doesn't have to be real estate, right? It has to just be life, and you're just looking for women to connect with that share the same kind of the struggles you can learn from, and vice versa. We can learn from, and just have us all be collective together.
Collective together. I love it. Once again, I want to thank you for us coming together and be here collectively at the
Yes.
collective.
Yes.
This is our first podcast. The intention was just to be as ourselves as possible and just for you guys to know a little bit of who we are. Our goal is for you guys to continue walking this journey with us, to continue growing with us and inspiring each other and collaborating and
Having vulnerabilities together. Because
Yes.
nothing in this life that we are living is hard. Life is lifing, guys. Life
And
is,
to go back to kind of that last topic, like if you're listening to this or watching it, however you're consuming this, if you're in the need of people to connect with and we seem like we could be your vibe, your cup of tea, then we invite you to reach out and be a part. We're looking for people.
and if you don't think we're your cup of tea, well, just continue watching us because I'm pretty sure we are.
Pretty sure we're for everybody.
We are. We have a little bit of everything for everybody here. We have Miss Sassy over here. Sometimes like Nancy and I, sometimes like
I'm
somebody.
probably the most blunt and straightforward one of the group, so I get labeled as the sassy one. But that's okay. I'll take it. I am sassy.
You are sassy.
But I'm also very blunt and to the point. I don't have a lot of fluffiness.
But this is the thing. Surprisingly, again, we go to the misconceptions. Like you are very blonde. You are very straight to the point, cut to the chase. There's not going to be BS around here.
no,
Just-
I don't have time for it.
It is. But at the same time, you're so like nice. Like by nice, I mean like you are very
Generous with your
She-
time. And
generous with time
your
and mama
attention.
bear. Let me tell you, like
Yeah, I'm
she'll
very-
defend you
yeah,
and
that's
she'll.
probably one of my,
Yeah.
people say like, what is it? And I'm like, I'm very protective of the people I love.
Yes.
My friends, my family. I probably get more mad for my friends when things happen to them than they get mad because I'm like, no, you deserve better than that. You're not taking that. Like I'm very protective of the people that I love. I'm very protective of my
saw
clients.
that. I
I'm very
saw
protective
that.
of the families I help. Like, don't try to take advantage of them. That's not what's happening here. So yes, I can be very to the point and direct.
Very direct. And I love that about you because
Thank
you
you.
want to have people that are going to tell you just how it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not a yes
I
person.
don't like to be like, oh, yeah. And then
No.
you don't really think that. So I'd rather, like, if you say I like you, it's because you really like me,
Yeah.
or, bitch, no, that's
Yeah, I'll be
just
like,
not
oh,
how
yeah,
it
no,
goes.
that's
You
not
don't do
really-
that,
yeah.
you know, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Nicole, what do you tell our people as we're, our ending words for this, or like for our first episode?
Well, I'm really proud of you for doing this and making it happen. I'm proud of both of you. And I'm just excited because this is the start of something really cool. I like the conversations. Like, this is going to be fun to have more conversations and invite other people in and hear their stories and just connect with as many people as possible. And hopefully we help people along the way, because that's what it's about.
I think that's the main goal. I think we all agree, that our goal is to, more than you guys, us to show off. It's more about maybe teach you or show you.
It's meant to be a safe space to share what is going on in our lives without feeling like we're being judged or, oh, we have to say this or we can't say this because then we're negative or this
too
or
much.
this or we're too much or she's
Not enough.
extra or this or this. Yeah, I already know all those things about myself and that's okay, right? I'm not for everybody. And so the point is to be here to share and everybody feel welcome to share their vulnerabilities and their struggles and collaborate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for if you watched us. Thank you so much. We are excited. We're thankful. It's such an honor. If you saw some of our, conversations, we appreciate it. And again, we are, starting. This is our fourth podcast. I am so excited. So many
First
more
of many. Yes.
First of many. So many to come, and really looking forward to continue growing and becoming better with each one of you.